What's up, Periscope?
Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite, and welcome to our scope today. So today we're going to continue our quest for business financing. Today we're going to be talking about how you can get business loans, or business financing I should say, at 0%, even as a startup, even if you don't have tax returns, you don't have revenue coming in with verifiable with bank statements. Sandra, hey, what's up? Welcome. Even if you don't have any kind of collateral whatsoever. Now, if you've been following us here, we've been talking about business credit. And what's up, Southern Girl Blues? Welcome back. And we've been talking about business credit for months now. Exactly the steps to build business credit, to get credit for your EIN that's not linked to your social security number. We've mapped all that out. And what I like about business credit is business credit's a catch-all. Anybody can get it. Even as a startup with no cash flow, with no credit, with no collateral, you can get business credit. As a matter of fact, we have people on this live stream with us right now and that will be joining us that have got a ton of business credit. One has now reached $150,000 in the last few months of business credit, regardless of cash flow, credit, or collateral. Then we've shifted. Now, the last couple scopes, we started to talk more about business loans, how to get approved for business loans, the different type of business loans, how to get approved for business loans when you can't get approved for a loan at a bank. We talked about what SBA loan requirements are. We talked about why most people, hey, what's up? Welcome, Prince, to our actual scope today. We talked about why banks are not the best source of getting a business loan unless you've got years in business, tons of cash flow, credit, and collateral, and profits on your tax returns. It's just not the best. Then we started to kind of talk about the 3 C's of lending. And the 3 C's of lending is how you get money when you can't get money to bank. So if you don't think you can get money to bank, you're probably right. Most people can't. But the good news is that 98% plus of business loans nowadays don't come from the banks. Leonard, welcome. They actually are coming from alternative lenders, as we've talked about. And alternative lenders are lenders that are alternative to conventional. Conventional lenders are big banks. They're Wells Fargo. They're, Regions Bank. They're Bank of America. Well, those guys aren't going to help you unless you actually have a good tax returns that show profits, unless you have collateral, unless you have a really good personal credit, which a lot of people don't have that combination. So what we've been discussing is alternatives. How do we get an alternative loan? We talked about these 3 C's of lending. We talked about cash flow financing. We talked about credit financing. We talked about unsecured financing, okay? And today, actually, I think I misrepresented the name of the scope, because today what we're going to be doing is not talking about the unsecured financing. My bad. We're actually going to talk about that next week. Hello, welcome, Women of Wealth. I love your powerful name. Again, welcome back. So I think, cool, you're signing up. I'd love to work with you. It's awesome. Actually, I kind of misrepresented the scope, because that's going to be next week's topic, is when we're going to talk about how to get 150 grand in unsecured 0% financing for the business. Today, what we're going to talk about, freezing. I'll try to move to a place. I have one spot in my office. This is the spot right here. That is the spot where I get good reception. The rest of the office, I don't seem to get good reception. I got to get a cell phone booster. What we are going to talk about today is actually how to get cash flow based financing. We're going to actually talk about how you can get financing based only on your actual bank statements, or the quality of your actual bank statements. I'm back. We missed you. Where did you go? So again, my apology, because as I started this scope, I forgot that I actually skipped a C. I haven't really dove in and talked to you all in depth about cash flow based financing. Today I'm going to be talking about that. Then next week we'll be talking a little bit more about the unsecured financing, how to get financing at 0% even as a startup with no cash flow and no collateral requirements. So, hey Ty, can I get a copy of that whiteboard behind you? Yeah, get a copy of it? Well, you can look at our scopes. We definitely have done scopes where we've walked through all of this. That's probably your best bet. And then you can take a screenshot of the actual screen. I love your scopes, so informative. As much of your time, much appreciation. Thanks. That's awesome. But I don't actually have a copy of these beyond what's on the actual scopes. So, that being said, again, kind of my apology. I actually misrepresented the name of this, because we're not going to talk about $150,000 financing. We're going to talk about that next week. This week, we're going to talk about cash flow based financing in depth. We're going to be talking about exactly how you can get a business loan based only on the quality of your cash flow. That's it, regardless of credit, regardless of collateral. So let's jump to the whiteboard. Let me show you what I'm talking about. About the 3 C's, right? We've talked about how to get money based on alternative financing, based on cash flow, based on good credit, or based on collateral, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is how you get financing even with bad credit. How you can get financing based strictly on your cash flow. Now remember, what's beautiful about the 3 C's formula is unlike a conventional bank loan where you have to have all 3 of these, check, check, check. With the 3 C's of lending, you only need one, cash flow, credit, or collateral. If you have one of the 3, you can get a business loan. You don't need all 3 like you do at a bank. So today we're talking about what if this was only your strength. And again, next week we'll talk about what I actually named the scope accidentally, which is how to get $150,000 in unsecured financing. So how can you get financing even with bad personal credit? Well, that is called cash flow-based financing, and it's often also referred to as revenue lending. Now, revenue lending, basically, to get approved, you need about $10,000 a month in deposits. We've talked about this before. You need 1 year in business. You can get up to $500,000. Let's dive in and talk a lot more about the specifics. No collateral is required at all with cash flow financing. So you don't need any kind of collateral. You don't need account receivables, purchase orders. You don't need a home to use as collateral. You don't need anything as collateral. There's absolutely no collateral requirements. This is also one of the fastest ways to get money, about 24 to 72 hours in funding. That might seem unreasonable. It ain't. I can tell you that I can remember 2 recent cases where we've helped people get this financing to pay their payroll the next day. They literally came in on one day and the next day we got them the financing. It's not uncommon at all because all they need is a bank statement review. Okay, as a matter of fact, it's pretty normal to take about 72 hours. How long it takes to fund really depends on you. If you have your bank statements ready, if you get your application back quickly, if you do those type of things, you're going to fund really quick. The delay in this process is you. If you're fast and you get us what we need or get whoever the source is that you need quickly, you'll get approved quickly. You'll fund quickly. It's it's the fastest and easiest ways you're ever going to find to get money on the business or personal side. It's about equal to an AmScot. You could walk into an AmScot on the personal side and get money this quick. In the business world, it's the fastest way you're going to get financing. So 24 to 72 hour funding time. No credit score requirements whatsoever. Okay, no credit score requirements, none. So no collateral requirements, no credit score requirements at all. It used to be where you needed about a 500 credit score to get approved. And now lenders don't even pull it. If you have good bank account management, they won't even pull your personal credit. You're an absolute wealth of knowledge. Thanks, I appreciate that. Well, my goal is to be able to make sure that anybody that watches this knows how to get money, period. I don't care if you don't have cash flow credit collateral. You go to business credit. If you have one, you go to one of these others. So I'm just going to lay out every way you can get money in these scopes so you can choose what works best for you or choose multiple options if that works. That's cool too. So with cash flow, you can get $10,000 a month in deposits in 1 year in business. If you have those 2 things, you can get approved. No collateral is required. They won't even look at your personal credit score nowadays. Some will. They need a 500 score. A lot of them won't, especially if you have good bank account management. So what are they looking at with good bank account management? Well, this is what good bank account management means. It means you need to have 5 or more deposits, 5 deposits plus. It means you need to have 10 or less non-sufficient funds. You can't overdraw the account a bunch. You need to have positive ending bank balances. Do your bank statement show that there's money in your account at the end of the month? You need to have increasing deposits month to month, which means that your revenues need to be going up, not down, right? That's basically what we're looking at. If you have consistent deposits, you don't overdraw your account a lot, you have some money in the end of the account. Hey coach, D818. I got to figure out a nickname. D818. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Positive ending bank balances. And if you have deposits or revenue that's increasing, then this is what they're looking for. If you fit this criteria, they're usually at all not even going to pull your credit report, and your collateral will not be required at all. Okay, so that being said, how much money can you get? It's a really, really simple formula. It's really basic. It's about 10 to 12% of whatever your annual deposits are. So for example, if you have $120,000 a year in revenue, you're going to get about 10 to maybe 12 grand is what you'll actually get lent. Let's say you have $500,000 a year in revenue, you're going to get about $55,000 lent. About 10 to 12% of your annual revenue is what you'll get lent on this program. Rates are all over the board. Do you have options for someone who wants to start a business? Yes, I do. And Woman of Wealth, I'm going to show you this real briefly, and then we'll dive into this next week, because that's all we're going to talk about next week is startup financing. So 8 to 55% rates, really big rates. Really big rate range. 8 to 55%, that's pretty huge. Memphis in the house, what's up? So why is the rate range so big? Because they work with all kinds of credit. If you have good credit, they'll help you. If they have bad credit, they help you. If you have good bank statements, they'll help you. If you have bad bank statements, they'll help you. So they deal with all kinds of risk ranges. So I like really wide interest rate ranges, because that's an indicator that the lender and the program, what's up Bay Area, Happy New Year to everybody. So that's an indicator that they'll help all kinds of credit. And to me, that's a big deal. That means a lot to me, because I used to own a consumer credit company. I used to help a lot of people fix their credit. I've owned a mortgage company. I helped a lot of people get into home loans with bad credit. It's important for me that people with credit issues still have solutions to get financing. So I like it when I see loan programs with rates of 8 to 55%. And thank you so much for the love. Thank you for sharing this scope. Those type of things mean more to me than words can say. So I really appreciate it. So I like wide interest rate ranges. It just means they'll help you no matter what your risk is. If you're high risk, you pay more. That's the way lending is. I don't care if you're buying a home, a car, I don't know if you're getting a mortgage, or if you're getting a business loan, or if you're getting a commercial loan. The higher risk you are, the higher the rate you'll pay. That's the way lending works, okay? So to me, if you're high risk, hey, I hope somebody helps you in your high risk. That gets you on your feet, and then you prove yourself. You get better to low risk, and then you get better financing term. So even with no credit, or even with really bad credit, you can get approved. Risk-based pricing. Again, Sandra, yes, thank you so much. We've talked about this before. Sandra, I think, is in the mortgage world. Is that right, Sandra? I think you are. I think you reached out to me on email, too, to be on your scope. And by the way, I responded back to you by email, but I never got an email back, just so you know that. So you can email back info@creditsuite.com. I'll reach out again, but I did email you back. I called you, too. I didn't leave a voicemail, though, but just so you know, I don't want you to think I left you hanging. So with this kind of financing, this is what you need. I sent you one back. I'll resend. Yes, resend it, because I did not get your email back, just so you know. And just so you know, Sandra, and anybody on here, if you're ever going back and forth with me or a team member, we will always get back to you. If we don't, something's broken. Email or call us back, and we will. In your case, Sandra, I did email you back. I called you, didn't leave a message. I didn't get an email back. Please resend. So cash flow based financing. You need to have $10,000 a month in revenue or more to qualify, kind of. 1 year in business or more, kind of. You guys are always on point. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What do I mean by kind of? Well, let's say you have $9 grand a month in revenue, but you've been in business for 3 years. Well, that would be a compensating factor. You've got longer time in business. We could overcome the fact that you don't have 10 grand in revenue. Let's say that you have 15 grand in revenue, but you only got 9 or 10 months in business, but you manage your bank account responsibly. You've got positive ending balances, no non-sufficient funds. Those type of things could be exceptions. So even if you're in a starter phase and you're not nearly at 12 months, or you're nearly 1 year in business but not there, you can still get approved for this kind of financing, okay? And it's only based on how you manage your bank account. Do you have regular deposits? Do you have not a lot of non-sufficient funds? Do you have positive ending bank balances? If the answer is yes, you can get approved for about 10 to 12% of your annual revenue. I've seen loans on this for 8 grand. I've seen loans on this for like 500,000, pretty close, like 480,000 lent in the course of a week with only a bank statement review. Pretty sick, pretty crazy. You could even get it with no inquiries on your credit report. Pretty cool. So I'm going to talk about one more kind of financing here. I do. Let me show you. We've got 2 links here. creditsuite.com/consult and creditsuite.com/consult. This is where you could go to actually spend one-on-one time with our team. They can tell you about all the different kind of financing that you can qualify for. They can also walk through and talk to you and get you a free business credit report and score, map out a plan to help you build business credit. Another link to check out is creditsuite.com/get funding. No dash in between, just one word, get funding. And if you go there, you can actually fill out what we call a finance blueprint qualifier, and we'll qualify you for all kinds of funding. You'll get an immediate decision on what you can qualify for. So this is like I don't really want to talk to somebody, I just see what I can get. And if you do qualify, we'll still call and see what we can do to help you anyways. This is more of I want to talk to somebody and walk through all the process of how much I can get. 2 good links to check out. So, cash flow based financing. You need about 10 grand a month in revenue. You need about 1 year in business. You can get about 10 to 12% of your annual revenue. So a $120,000 loan is going to get you about 12 grand in financing. Rates of usually 8 to 55% based on risk. You need 6 months of bank statements and merchant statements to get approved, all pages. You're going to need a driver's license. That's about it. You don't need collateral. You can get approved in about 24 to 72 hours and fund. They put money right into your bank account. No credit score requirements. And you only need to manage your account bank responsibly to get approved. Regular deposits, not a lot of non-sufficient funds, 10 or less. Positive ending bank balance at the end of the month, and revenues increasing from month to month. Let's say that you have these type of things. Let's say you have this and you have good credit. I have good revenue and I have good credit. Well, then that opens up what I like to call private money or alternative SBA loans. This money comes from alternative investors, or private money comes from private investors. And this alternative SBA loans comes from lenders that are not conventional bank loans, not your Bank of America, not your Wells Fargo. Thank you again for the kisses, which is awesome. That's cool. And thank you so much for the hearts, and thank you so much for the shares. I appreciate it, everybody. So alternative SBA, you can get approved if you have tax returns and good credit. So if you only have deposits, you have good bank account management, you'll be hearing back from our team as far as funding and equipment. We will be hearing back from your team. Yes, that's awesome. That's great. I'd love to help you with that too, because I know, Christine, you've done so well with business credit. You're giving me lots of hearts. That's awesome. I appreciate that. So alternative SBA, good credit and tax returns. You need both here, credit and revenue. But if you have it, then you can get about 50 to 500,000. They'll do a deeper scrutiny if you need over $500,000, but you can get it. But you get longer loan terms. These are 2 to 4 year loan terms. This cash flow financing is only short term. It's usually 6 months to 18 months is usually what this type of actual financing is. So it's about 6 to 18 months is what the typical rate of financing is, or the typical term. Now you can get revenue lending even up to 3 years. They usually do daily payments, but we can get you monthly, we can get you weekly on revenue lending. Alternative SBA private money is typically going to be monthly payments, 2 to 4 year loan terms, really long loan terms. And nonprofits are okay with private money alternative SBA. We're doing some pretty high loan amounts for churches right now. Approvals are typically based on your net profits. So if you have tax returns that show good net profits, then we can get you low interest rate long-term financing. But let's say you don't have tax returns that show net profits. Let's say you don't even have tax returns. Let's say your tax returns suck and you lose money. Well, then revenue lending still works. Let's say your credit is bad, then revenue lending still works. So these are 2 completely really different options. Rev lending works well if you have good bank account management and consistent money coming in your bank account every single month, okay? What is the qualifications for alternative SBA and private money loans? You need good personal credit, typically 700 scores and higher. You need tax returns that show good net profits. If you have tax returns that show good net profits and good personal credit, well, then you can get private money alternative SBA. If you don't have those things, but you have consistent deposits, then you can get revenue lending. Christine, if you're purchasing a company, do they use their tax returns and yours as well? Well, with SBA, they're definitely going to look at both. Yes, they will. They need to make sure you have the means to pay. They need to make sure that the business is generating the revenue, so they will look at both. So that is an overview of 2 different kinds of financing. We talked about cash flow based financing. We talked about alternative money and SBA. okay? So that's two completely different types of financing. Revenue lending works well if you only have consistent deposits, manage your bank account well. They don't care about personal credit, don't care about collateral. 24 to 72 hour funding. It's fast funding, which is awesome. And all they do is look at your bank statements. If your bank statements make sense, as I showed you what makes sense, and you have an application, which we can even get you, or you can fill out with whoever you're actually working with, then what you can do from there is you can easily then qualify for revenue lending. If you do have 1 to 2 years of tax returns and your tax returns show some kind of profit and you happen to have good personal credit, well, then you can qualify for alternative SBA loans. What's the difference? Well, alternative SBA loans do take longer to close, but you can get more money, and they do give you longer terms, 2 to 4 year loan terms, and lower rates, about 8 to 15% rates. Cash flow based financing, super fast, super easy money. They don't care about tax returns. They don't care about credit. They don't care about collateral. Funding in 24 to 72 hours, but you'll pay for it. The rate's definitely higher. How high your rate is depends on your risk. But this is awesome financing because once you get in the door one time and you do a cash advance, then we find about 80% of people come back and do more and more. Ty, need help to get revenue lending company has exploded in the last 4 months. Contact me. Ty, need help to get revenue lending company. No problem. We can definitely help you with that, Leonard. All you have to do is go.
We can help you. Just go to creditsuite.com/consult. Schedule a consult call or email us info at creditsuite.com, and we can
with that as well. We deal with a lot of brokers where we help them place their actual deals, and we actually obviously help a lot of end customers with finding the right solution as well. So there we go. That's going to conclude my misnamed scope today. And again, my bad on that. The $150,000 in unsecured financing we're going to talk about next week. But today, how much interest is on cash flow financing? It's all over the board. I've seen it as low as 8%. We've done one at 8%. I've seen it as high as 55%. We've done them at 55%. Again, the rate range is big because the risk that it works with is big. Anytime you deal with a program that doesn't care about personal credit, then you're going to have a low rate if you're low risk, and you're going to have a high rate if you're high risk. What determines high and low risk? How you manage your bank account. So it really depends. On average, you're paying about 20% plus on revenue financing. It's not the kind of money that you get just so you can come through. They do run business credit. Yes, you're right. And we see a lot of people decline because they don't have good business credit. But again, we can help you with that as well. So if you ever get declined because of business credit, we can help you get approved because we can help you fix your business credit, right? So you're good either way. So that wraps up our scope today. 2 different kinds of financing: cash flow financing, fast, easy money, no collateral requirements, no credit requirements. All you need is about 10 grand a month in revenue, 1 year in business. You're good. If you manage your bank account responsibly, good consistent deposits, good ending balances, not a lot of non-sufficient funds, you can get approved. If you have good personal credit, and if you have good tax returns, and thank you, Woman of Wealth, I really appreciate that. It's awesome feedback. It really means a lot. If you have good personal credit, good tax returns with good profits, well, then you can get longer terms, lower rates through either private money sources and an alternative SBA. And no matter which of this you may
go to creditsuite.com/consult, and we'll spend some time with you one-on-one to talk about your options. creditsuite.com/get funding is just our simple online qualifier where you can get approved. Okay,
it's because our belief is really simple. We're not an on deck of the world. We love on deck. On deck's one of our lenders, but all they do is revenue lending. It's the only type of financing they offer. You could go in with an 850 credit score. If you don't make 10 grand a month, they can't help you. So our philosophy is to work with all kinds of lenders and all programs. This gets you approved when you typically can't get approved at most sources, and it also gets you approved for more money because you can often qualify for multiple programs. Thank you so much. You always provide awesome info. Thank you so much. Still building my business credit. Awesome. We're going to revisit business credit. I haven't forgot about business credit. We're just shifting to loans here for the next month or so, talking to you all about different kind of financing. And we'll also be talking about all different kinds of things. We'll do a scope on financing for minorities. We'll do a scope on financing for women. We'll do a scope for financing with bad credit. We're going to do scopes with outline all different kind of options for no matter what your scenarios are. And a lot of these topics I get from YouTube because I can see what people are commonly searching for, and we're going to cover all those topics as well. as well. So next week, we're going to be talking about what I misnamed the scope this time, how to get $150,000 in unsecured financing at 0% rates. The 0% isn't permanent. It's only about 6 to 18 months, but that's not bad. And you can get it even as a startup. So I think it was Sandra that mentioned getting money for a startup. We're going to dive into that next week. And then the week after, we'll be talking in depth about how to get financing from 1 to 3%, even lower than conventional bank loans. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all very much for watching. Remember, all you need to qualify for a business loan is the 3 C's of lending. One of them, cash flow, 10 grand a month or more, good personal credit, or a guarantor that has one, or collateral. If you have one of those 3, you could typically get a business loan in credit. And Mark, who I haven't seen on here actually today, Mark is so far at about 25 to 30,000 in business credit. Remember, you can still get business credit. So no matter what your scenario, you have a solution. If you want to talk more with us, creditsuite.com/consult. I'll see you on our next scope where we talk about unsecured financing and how to get it at 0%. Thank you all very much for checking out the scope today. Don't forget, we're live on Facebook tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern. So Woman of Wealth, it's awesome seeing you. I love seeing you on these scopes now. Thank you so much. Thanks a million. Thank you very much for following. I really appreciate it. Remember, all this is worthless unless you take action. So share, tell your friends about the scope so we can get the word out and help more people get money for their business to fuel their dreams so we can really get this economy going. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.